Hello, welcome back to Too Many Books. My name is Sean, and today we have a Broken Binding subscription unboxing. This, my friends, at the tail end of June, is the June title, which is Silverthorn by Raymond E Feist, the second book in the Riftwar Saga, the original trilogy, or third book of the original four if you're reading the trade editions where Magician is split. Because some trade editions... Magician's a big book. I did that one last month. And, man, this one is significantly smaller compared to Magician. So, lots of packing material to keep that safe. Anyways, Magician, this actually features, I believe, both bookmarks. Magician is a beast of a novel, and so a lot of the trade editions have it split into Magician Apprentice and Magician Master. And here we have the two bookmarks. We have the bookmark for Magician from last month and the bookmark for Silverthorn for this month, which should both have quotes on the back. There was nothing left to fear. He would endure or he wouldn't. Knowing what things are not is often as important as knowing what they are. So there we go. Now, this is going to be an exciting one. Mostly because I'm just curious to see how Alan Morris's artwork is. Alan Morris is a terrific artist, and he has joined Broken Binding to do interior illustrations for Riftwar here. So, first and foremost, we of course have Jeff Brown's incredible dust jacket artwork. Jeff Brown is almost like the in-house artist at this point for Broken Binding. I mean, I'm sure he does works for other publishers, but man, that looks incredible. So we have board artwork by Martin Mottet, Endpaper artwork by Christopher Cant and Mansik Yang, interior artwork by Alan Morris. All sorts of different artists involved. Martin Motet's cover artwork here on the boards themselves. And then we're going to have, presumably this is Christopher Cant's Endpaper. And then, excuse that, get that out of the way. Sorry, apologies. And then we have Mansik Yang's artwork, his Endpaper for that one here. Freaking badass. So this is Tier 1, which means there's 1,500 numbered copies. This is 805, which matches all my other Tier 1s, going all the way back to the original publications, which was the First Law trilogy. Signed by Raymond E Feist. I don't know how many Tier 2 books there are, but there is an unsigned... Oh yeah, let's look at the page edges as well. I don't know how many Tier 2s are out there, but they have the same kind of qualities as the book, except they're not going to be signed. Anyways, Silverthorn is the sequel to Magician. Magician follows young Pug as he learns the ways of magic, whereas Silverthorn here follows another character, Aretha, a character from Magician, although he wasn't as prominent within Magician. Although he is, a point of view character for when he is in there. Anyways, his betrothed is struck down by a struck down with poison. And so, Aretha then has to put together a gang to go and find the mythical herb, Silverthorn. Hey, the titular herb, which can be the cure for his beloved's poison, her ailment. And I see right here we're going to have some Alan Morris artwork, which, man, Alan Morris artwork kicks ass. So no, this is essentially, as I kind of disclaim with all the Broken Binding books, it's essentially a fancy trade edition. It's going to have it has a glued binding. There she is getting struck with the poison arrow. 150 pages in, but hey, that's kind of the whole premise of the novel. There's if you're not familiar with the Riftwar Saga in general, the Riftwar is dealing with these, rifts that are opening up in the world that connect their world to other worlds and realities, where you have evil forces pouring through. And so, it's an incredible series. I mean, there's a ton of books, but thankfully it's kind of broken down into smaller bits, kind of like Robin Hobb does with her Farseer, her Elderlings series. So, you have this original Riftwar Saga, and then you have, like, Krondor's Sons. Krondor's Sons? Is that the name of the trilogy? It's got to be up in the front there, right? There was a Or am I just... Like, it has Prince of Blood and King's Buccaneer, which is Krondor's son's duology. Fairy Tale being by itself. He worked with Janny Wirtz for the Empire series, Daughter, Servant, and Mistress, which is incredible. That actually deals with the other side of the Rift. That deals with Kelluan, and not necessarily Midkemia. Speaking of which, it was a nice Midkemia map that came with Tier 1 back in Magician days. So, yes, it is basically a fancy trade edition, but I actually don't know how many trade editions are out there in hardcover for Silverthorn. This might have been published originally as a paperback way back in the day. I don't actually know if there are any hardcover editions out there other than, say, the Grimrock Press limited edition. I could be completely mistaken there. Not to show my age, but I was not alive when this was first published back in the 80s. I was not collecting books. So I can't say for certain. It's been reprinted 32 times. How about that? Previously published in paperback, and there we go. So, yeah, maybe it was in hardcover. I mean, that says paperback there, but this might be like the first UK hardcover, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not 100% on that. But if it is, that just makes it even more special. It has a glued spine, glued binding, as opposed to a sewn binding, which is unfortunate, because, if you keep reading it, you will damage your book and wind up with a broken binding yourself. But for a smaller title like Silverthorn, that shouldn't pose an issue. It's really only going to affect you on maybe like the larger titles like Magician, the first title. If you want a really fancy limited edition, I believe it's still available through Grimrock Press, which I did a whole unboxing for that, 5 years ago at this point, 4 or 5 years ago. So I'll link that unboxing in the description below. That has artwork by Don Mates. Kind of funny that Alan Morris did the interior artwork here for Silverthorn, because Alan Morris has done various titles for Grimrock Press, but he did not do the Feist titles for Grimrock Press. He did the Eddings titles. I know he did Eddings. And I feel like he did... Did he do the Donaldson titles? But anyways, Silverthorn, available wherever trade books are sold. This hardcover edition is only available through the Broken Binding subscription. Tier 2 has a disgusting waitlist. Tier 1, an even more disgusting waitlist. So you'll have to buy it on the secondary market if you want to pick up a copy such as this. But if you want to check out every single month of the Broken Binding, be sure to subscribe to the channel here, because I am on the monthly fantasy and the bi-monthly science fiction line, and I'm going to keep those coming. So anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you around next time.